Hello everyone, this is Don back with the next progress report on the Corsair. As you can see, it's a nice gloomy day. It's only 4 o'clock out right now, and it's been kind of raining like this for about the last hour. It's been on and off. Hell, the clouds are even going southeast today. Southwest, excuse me. That's about due south that way. So, anyway, I've been working on the plane the last couple days with the jetting and such. So I think I've got it as far as I can go until my Thunderjet kit shows up, and tracking on it yesterday showed that it was already in Pittsburgh. I ordered it Thursday night, Friday it was shipped, and yesterday morning it was in Pittsburgh. So today being Sunday, they didn't deliver, of course, but the tracking shows that it's supposed to be delivered tomorrow. So I'm ready for it. I've got the jetting as far as I can go with it. Alright, let's see if she'll start up again. There's the pump. That's idling at about 1,000 RPM. Didn't touch the throttle. And I'll give you guys a couple seconds to see if you notice anything different. Cable routed for the fuel enrichment. It's going to come up around the back and be attached right there. We can cut down. The cable will go up through here. I'll drill a hole in there and put a stop on either side of the solid cable inside, and this is what it looks like after it's unwrapped. That thing needs a real good straightening before I put it back in there. Alright, let's see. I still have the accelerator pump disabled, so it hesitated there that first hit, but when the prop's on there it's not that bad, but I'm going to tweak it some. Alright, so right there it's idling 14.6. That was 5,000. Turn it off for a second. Runs like a dream. So if you haven't figured it out, it's running on the distributor. It's all done, all hooked up, routed wires around. I'm still gonna steal the boots off the old spark plugs, these boys. Put those on because the wires I bought are the same diameter as these. They're just tough to get on and off. That was the coil wires going to the coils, and as you can see, I've got the coil mounted here now. I drilled a hole in there, 6 mil by 1 millimeter pitch, and bolted on there. And then I took and made up a harness because I need to run. This is the power from the key coming in. It's going through a Bosch 30 amp relay, so it comes in and it splits, goes to the coil and goes to the yellow input of the distributor, and then the blue output of the distributor is going to go out. And what this is just a jumper, but this is meant to go into the fuselage to a toggle switch, and it's going to come back out 2 wires on channel 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2, these are the coil wires. So right now I just have a jumper going just to 1 coil so I can get it up and running. I took the distributor cap off, pulled the guts out of it, pulled the flyweights out of it, because after I got it started it was running about 14 degrees initial, and as I revved it up it wasn't advancing at all. So I stopped, took it apart, and I thought the spring weights were too heavy, and then as I took it all apart I sorted out the springs. I took out the heavy of the 2 springs. There's 4 altogether. I thought the small ones were the light ones, but they turned out they're the heavy ones. So I took out both the heavy springs and left the light springs in there, put it in there, and I tried to move it and it still wouldn't move. Well, it turns out when you put the screw in the center and tighten it down, it was binding the whole thing up or it wouldn't advance. So I had to find a small little washer to put under the screw when I put it in there, tighten it, that the mechanical advance would actually slip and move, and then when you put the rotor on there you can actually turn it. So I ran her up. It was running 14 and it was going all the way up over, well, I dropped it down to 10. And I run it up and it run right up to 32 degrees, like perfect. But I don't want it idling at 10. So I cranked her up to 14 and run it up, and it goes way past 34, 36 degrees, and like that's too much. So I took it back apart, pulled that piece out, the mechanical advance. It has two holes in it, slotted holes that ride on the pins that the flyweights sling it out, and that's what the advance is. So I welded one of them. I welded one of those holes about 1/8 of an inch short, because they were probably about a 1/2 inch long, so now it's about 3/8 inch long on one of them. So all you need is one, because once that one hits and bottoms, that's as far as it goes. Put her back in, fired it up, run her up, run it till I got to 32 to 34, adjusted the distributor, let her come down, and then it was like 14 degrees initial, and I was like, that's perfect. So that's done. Now, since it's been in the garage, I've gotten a couple drips out of the seal on the back. So I may end up having to replace that after all, but again, there's the ignition module I took out for the 4 coils, and there's my seal to put in. So this is, you know, still good. This one's still good, the GM HEI and this. So I'm just hoping, you know, this is only a 1/2 ohm of primary resistance, and I'm hoping that it in order to use both these coils, I still have to make a block for 2 coil wires to go into and 1 single wire to come out to the capsule. The cap goes into 1 pin, spreads out to 2, and then goes to these 2 coils. Or the 2 coils will go in and it comes out as 1. And then when the coils are selected, depending on which one's selected, it'll fire the coil, and either one of the coils will come out to this. So I still would have to make that little 3-tower thing. You'd have like 3 towers on it that you can hook on to plug leads. Come 2 out of the coil, and then 1 from the coil to here. It'll be a block set back somewhere out of the way. But right now I'm just going to run it as is with this little jumper in there. All I have to do is pull it out and run 2 triggers from the switch, trigger out and 2 back. So I can run the 1 wire out here, and then I've got 2 slots come back in to feed the 2 coils, and then I just have to make that block too. That way I could have channel 1, channel 2, where I can test it like magnetos on the ground, tack it, see if one's running, switch to the other. And then when you're flying around, if you have a problem, you can flip the switch and see if it'll come back to life by changing the switches. So that's where I'm at. I didn't get to finish this up today, but I'll work on that tomorrow. Get this, and then I'll pull the distributor off to mount that unit. So the jetting, I've got the 28 thousandths intermediate jet with a 40 thousandths bleed, and then I've got like a 55 main jet with a 40 thousandths bleed. So both bleeds are 40 thousandths. That's what it took to get this thing in there. Now those readings in there are going to be a little off because I don't have the prop on it. So because of the rain today, I took the prop off to work on it in here and get it running on this distributor. So that's where I'm at. Nothing else other than get these boots swapped over. These are just pieces of hose, and luckily they haven't shorted. And also what I need to do is go ahead and get my radio, put my headset on, plug it into the plane, and run it and see if I'm hearing any radio noise, because these are solid core wires. By the looks of these, I'm probably going to need to shorten them up. They don't need to be this long. Yeah, because these will stay the same, but I can probably take out 4 to 6 inches on each one of those. These ones aren't bad once I snake them around the backside. Those will probably I'll leave like that. But it's nice clean installation. Still no oil out of this thing. But get that Thunderjet tomorrow, because I've got it so it's running, it's 13 to 1 at 4,000 RPM. And if you go over that, then it gets to 4,200 and you're at 15 to 1. So the Thunderjet's supposed to kick in between 4,000 and 42, and it comes with air bleeds for this outside fitting here, but I made my own, so I won't need theirs. Theirs are metric threads and metric holes. They're 0.8 millimeter to 0.20 millimeters, 2.0 millimeters, so 0.8 mil to 2.0 mil. But I've got these, I can put any size I need in it, but that's what they need it for. I don't think it's air bleeds for the jet, for the actual Thunderjet. I don't know, I'll see. They don't give you any instructions on how that thing works or how to tune it. I think that only comes with, I couldn't find them online to download. All I could find is how to modify the carburetor to put it in. Nothing about tuning it. Alright, so I think that's about it. About run out of gas with the thing. I've got maybe less than a half a gallon in there, and I bought like 3 gallons of gas the other day for this thing, and that's not even half full. So I probably did 40 different jet changes, air bleed changes to come to this setup. So alright, let's try one last time before I call it a day. That there I got it to stall. I was trying to throttle it back as fast as I could to see if it would stall, and it did. But with the prop on there, it'll have a little more inertia, and it probably won't do that, but I'll never pull the throttle that hard anyway. So alright, I guess that's going to do it for this update. There's not much other to report on, than I spent a lot of time. I spent like all day yesterday messing with these jets. I'd make a air corrector jet change, and then I'd go through all the different size bleeds for it, and then after I got it where, and then I change the air corrector jet again and do it all over again. So I'm doing like 5 or 6 tests for each intermediate jet change, and then the air correctors doing about 5 or 6 of those changes to find out which one give me the best. This combination right now is supposed to give me about 15 to 1 just coming off of idle, because the idle is adjusted by the mixer here. So 15 to 1, as soon as I come off, it goes into the 15s, and then it starts going rich. And then when it gets to 3,000, that's where it's the richest. And this jet was, the jetting on this should put her right around 12.5 to 1, which is okay. And then at 4,000, it gets all the way up to close to 4. Then it starts creeping from that 12.5 up to 13 to 1, which is fine. And then once I get this Thunderjet in there, that will pick up, maybe overlap a little bit, and allow it to stay at 12.5 to 13. But the idea is no richer than 13 at 5,000 RPM, and definitely no richer than 12. So I want to be somewhere between 12.5 and 13 at full power. Preferably, well, 13 on the ground would be good. And then everybody's so concerned about altitude, you know, air corrections and altitude. It's not going to change in just a few thousand feet. Might change a little. So if I run it on the lean side of say 13 to 1, and then as you go on altitude, it'll drop down into 12.5, 12 to 1, which is still fine. But jetting doesn't, altimeter corrections don't change that much. And people say, well, I fly out of a place, you know, it's 100 degrees and density altitude is blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I don't fly when it's over 90 degrees. You ain't gonna get me in this little airplane when it's 90 plus degrees outside and humid as hell. You can't see and hazy. Nope, that's about the worst time of year to fly, is in the hot, humid air. And around here, we don't have that very often. So out where that guy lives, maybe that's his case, and he's got to deal with that. But I don't. So, all right, everyone, that's gonna do it for this update. As always, appreciate everybody taking time to watch these videos, and feel free to leave any comments, questions, concerns as always. And as always, don't be afraid to leave comments. Appreciate the comments you guys leave now. So I'm really happy that this thing is working. And first try, it cranked like 5-6 times, and it finally caught and took off. And I think that was just getting the fuel prime back up in the carbs from making all the changes to set it where I wanted it. But then since then, it starts just like you see there, folks. Even when it was cold, I already ran it a little bit after I got this wiring done to make sure it would start, and then it still started super easy. So alright, everybody, that's gonna do it, and I will see you again probably not tomorrow. I'll be working on that jet change, and then so it'll probably be Tuesday before my next update. Alright, everybody, take care, and this is Down and Dawn out.